ProWrestlingSheet.com.
Welcome, everybody, to another episode of Collider Body Slam SmackDown Recap. I am your host, as always, one of your hosts, rather, John Rocha. I can't wait to dive into SmackDown. Had a lot more fun with this than I did Raw, which seems to be the pattern lately, but we can't talk about it without, of course, Ryan Satin over there from the Pro Wrestling Sheet.
You are the host. You're the host.
What?
It's okay. You're the host. I'm the co-host.
Okay, fair enough.
Yeah, I like you being the host. You're a good host.
I like to not put titles on people.
No,
really?
You are the host of this show, John Rocha.
Welcome to my show. No, I'm just joking. No, but listen, we're like the Miz and Maurice. We go together, man.
Totally.
This is how it works.
Yes.
So anyway, Ryan, overall feelings about SmackDown before we dive into it, match by match. How did you feel coming? Like, you look rested. You recovered from All In.
Yeah.
You got some shit for your hat, apparently, from some douche on the internet, and got some stuff going on, which I love when people go at you. I'm like, what is wrong with you guys, man? Let Ryan love wrestling and enjoy what he's doing.
I'm getting better. I swear to God, I think my trip to Chicago this weekend has finally helped me get over caring about people talking shit on Twitter. And I'm sure at some point something bad will happen. I'll look like an idiot for saying this, but my whole trip in general, I flew to Chicago, and I watched the Mr. Rogers documentary.
Oh, nice!
And
Won't you be my neighbor?
Yeah, and you know what? It kind of resonated with me a little bit as someone who, sometimes I forget that I am in the public spotlight a little bit, because I have run the site and all that kind of stuff. And it was like, you know what? I'm just gonna try to be as nice to as many people as possible. Like that's all that really. That's what I want people to think of me as. So I'm trying to get better at that. I'm really trying.
Listen, we're Latinos, man. It's tough for us to stay out of the fight. It's really we like to dive in. That's what we've been built to do. And so it's tough to stay out of the fight, especially on social media.
Yeah, my mom always raised me to say something back if someone was talking shit. So yeah, it has definitely been a change in my life, but it's a welcome one.
But we also get good tweets.
Yes, we get so many good tweets, and I'm trying to get better with. That's why I honestly was laughing at that other one because the guy was like calling me a poser basically for wearing a Bullet Club hat. It's old school word. I haven't been called that one in a while.
Yeah,
but
they sell Bullet Club shirts at Hot Topic, so you kind of can't pose.
That's where I got the hat too. I was like shopping for Bullet Club stuff when I was there.
Where did you get it? In the wrestling underground, the black market, the authentic thing down in the slums? Fuck out of here.
But yes,
anyways,
like you said, we do get the positive ones too.
We do.
I should actually give a shout out to this guy because he was awesome. Brendan O'Brien left a comment in the YouTube channel that said, "You guys have revived my love for wrestling after being a very casual and basically non-existent fan for years." And that made me like super happy.
Thank you.
Yeah, that was very rad.
Yeah.
So really those messages are much more appreciated than the ones calling me a bitch ass Mark Ho or whatever it was. Even though he called me adorable, which was cute.
He did.
But to answer your question,
Yes.
I got a little rested last night. I ended up falling asleep. I watched like half of SmackDown last night, and then I fell asleep. I probably shouldn't say which match I fell asleep during, but I fell asleep at some point, and I think it was actually during the commercial. I fell asleep during the commercial, and
Iconics. Yeah, go ahead.
I know. Actually,
you probably did. You probably did.
Actually, oh, you're right. That's like right in the middle of the show. That is like when I fell asleep. Shit.
Yep. Hate to break it to you.
So I watched the rest when I came into work today. Overall, it was good. It was better than Raw, that's for sure.
Absolutely. So it kicked off with Daniel Bryan and Brie Bella doing their promo about the match coming up here at Hell in a Cell, about the mixed tag match they're having with Miz and Maurice. God bless. My brain is going nuts right now. They talked about them, calling them out and all this kind of stuff that was happening, and then Sin Almas and Zelina came out instead, and they had a little bit of a back and forth there, and then they set up a match between them that ended up happening between Daniel Bryan and Sin Almas. So, did you like this promo? It didn't have the fire that I'd seen from Bryan and Brie before.
Yeah, I agree with you there, and also I felt like that weird setup where they showed Miz and Maurice from WWE.com earlier doing like an empty arena promo, calling them out, didn't really make a lot of sense. And this was one of the main running themes throughout the episode was this kind of thread of them avoiding each other until they finally came face to face at the end of the episode.
Right.
I didn't love this promo, and it's just funny because in addition to not loving the promo, I thought that like one of the biggest talking points coming out of Raw, I think, was Brie Bella's botched suicide dives that we spoke about on here.
Sure.
But it was funny that was the big talking point of like everyone was mad Brie Bella wrestling again, and then she's still doing the dual superstar thing. So she started off the show. Nothing was mentioned about it. I was wondering if they were going to do something maybe like a little tongue-in-cheek about it. Just kind of like him maybe even backstage, like when they were talking once, like doing like a, hey, don't do like what you did last night or whatever, like as a joke to kind of play off it, to kind of squash it. But yeah, no, I didn't. I kind of felt like this was a little too similar to what we've seen from them in the past, and I would kind of like a little bit of progression. So yeah, I wasn't huge on this, but I do still like the whole storyline that's going on between them. I like that this was a thread going out throughout the episode.
Yeah. Then you had the match between Bryan and Almas. They went at it. The match seemed it was kind of short. It didn't get going in enough time for me to 100% thoroughly enjoy the match. It was there were some good spots, good moves. Some of the moves were repeated from last week, which was a little weird for me.
Yep.
But overall, and I don't know how much longer he has to wear that Seattle Seahawks outfit, because I liked it the first couple of times. Now I'm like, no, I need a little change up.
Well, I remember
is it on purpose because he's from the Pacific Northwest?
It was. I believe it was on purpose because I remember when he first came back. He said that he did like some kind of interview where he said he had two sets of outfits. Like he's got the old Daniel Bryan's outfit and like the new Daniel Bryan's outfit, and the new one was Seattle Seahawks colors, and that's kind of like representative of like the new Daniel Bryan that's going to be going forward, and the other trunks were like representative of the old Daniel Bryan that we saw. And so when he first had his first match back, he did the old one, but now we're seeing the new one. So I don't mind it. I feel like there is a little bit of a noticeable difference in his style since he's kind of been with the blue outfit.
Yeah,
and stuff.
right.
Yeah,
you
absolutely.
noticed that too.
Yeah.
I was thinking. It was hitting me like, what's different? Oh, there's something different here in how he's fighting in these trunks versus how he fought in the other trunks. It's interesting.
There was that one part in the match where Andrade did like a drop salt that looked so cool when Daniel was going to the outside.
Oh man!
And he did like that drop salt. It looked so. I know he wasn't going for the drop salt like Paul London used to do, but it ended up looking that way because he didn't want to land on in a bad way on the ground, his shoulder or something like that. So it looked awesome.
The kick was fantastic.
I forgot to mention my favorite part about the promo.
All right, go ahead.
I meant to put a note down for myself so I wouldn't forget it. But we talked last week about how Andrade has been struggling a little. He's not the best on the mic.
Yes.
My favorite part was when they gave him the mic this week. He at one point he did the quotations, but he did it around the term Daniel Bryan, which doesn't make any sense. He was like Daniel Bryan, and it was like. And I just saw Blockers when I was on the plane. The John Cena movie. Have you seen that movie?
Yeah, of course. My friend Kay Cannon directed it.
Oh, great, awesome.
Yeah.
I thought it was great.
It's such a good movie.
And people gave it a bad rap when it came out. I saw like bad reviews for it. It didn't do like as well as I think I expected it to. My girlfriend and I in the plane, we were like, why didn't people...
It's so funny.
What were people talking about? This was great. And John Cena was hilarious.
He was.
But one of his things he does in the movie that I thought was funny was when he does that. He like does quotes during the wrong thing. And so
that's not how you do that.
That's not how you do that. Yeah, you're using them wrong. So that's totally how Andrade was like, Daniel Bryan, and cracked me up. But yeah, the match itself, it was very similar to last week. Very, very similar to last week.
Yeah, and I thought it was going to be a longer match. But I'll tell you something. At the end was really interesting to me because Brie almost went heel. That's a heel move.
Yeah, okay, I can see that.
Zelina was just saying like you got the victory. It's not like they cheated to get the victory and then they wanted to gloat over you.
Yeah.
You got the victory. She was just pointing her finger and trying to get out of the ring, and then Brie out of nowhere, because Bryan goes, yeah, go get her. And Brie grabs her, punches her, and then sets her up for that knee to the face. And that knee to the face is damn good.
I've always loved that move.
Woo, that's a damn good move.
I used to make that one of my wrestlers' finishers in WWE 2K. I think it looks awesome. It's a great move.
It is.
It was slightly a little bit of a heel move, but
right.
But I like that Brie is like trying to make up for lost time, where she's just gonna beat up anyone now. Like that seems she's like in full mom mode, where she's got her mom strength on and she's just ready to fight. Like she's been stuck at home changing diapers for the past year, and she's like, no, I want to beat some bitches up. Like let's do this. I want to punch some faces.
It would be nice if they got into the situation where she starts to become like super excited about getting into these fights, and Bryan has to he's the pacifist that's trying like, no, honey, we don't do. What are you doing? No, we gotta win. I don't like what they're saying about you. Blah, blah, blah. That would be interesting to see if they progress forward with that as a possible angle. Honestly, people gave her too much shit about the suicide thing. I don't care about that suicide dive thing. It happens. Every wrestler blows spots. Every wrestler messes stuff up. It's how it goes in the ring.
The best wrestlers have done that.
Yeah, and I'd rather you mess up trying to high fly and move than mess up doing a simple move, like
Absolutely.
a small package or some bullshit.
And the fact that she went for it again isn't like that she's stupid. That's how ballsy she is. That she was willing to go try it again. Even she fucked it up again. Because I think the first one wasn't her fuck up.
Right.
The second one was her fuck up.
Yeah.
But props to Brie Bella. Dude. I like that she's going in. She's going full force with it in this comeback.
I just want her to stop yelling her own slogan. I don't want. Don't say Primo. Don't
hate that you don't like that.
Don't say it. Just do it. Because you're asking the audience to cheer you, and to me, as an old school wrestling fan, I'm like, you don't ask the audience to cheer for you. It's different when you're outside the ring and you're clapping. That's different because you want to get the audience behind you. But when you're like stopping in the middle to go in the center of the ring to go Primo, to me it just drives me.
What's the difference like that and Suck It? It's like they were going like Suck
It's different. Suck It's different.
Why is it
because
different?
Suck It's not about you. You're not saying Triple H suck it. Triple H tells you to suck it.
What about Macho in the ring going like, oh yeah?
Yeah, but again, those are slogans that your name is not in those slogans. So the Brimo thing is what bothers me.
Because her name is in it?
Yes, that's what bothers me. But it's my thing.
The thing that bothers me about it, and I am all about
Hogan
Brimo.
said Hogan leg drop before he dropped it. You'd be like, what the fuck? Anyway, I'm sorry.
The only thing that I always think is funny about it is that Brie mode is technically getting drunk. So like if you watch Total Divas, like when you're getting into Brie mode, when she gets into Brie mode, it's her getting wasted.
That's right.
So that's always my favorite part about it. Is it's literally like her going like, I'm wasted before she beats someone up. And so I think technically that's why I like it so much.
Fair enough.
And
I can respect that.
That's my main reasoning behind it.
To me, as I look at this rivalry, and they're getting the best of Almas and Vega, I don't understand. Like, why are they being used as fodder for the Miz and Bryan thing?
I kind of like it.
You don't think they're burying him a little bit?
Nah, I think they're getting the rubski from being involved with. I mean, Daniel Bryan and The Miz is arguably one of the best feuds in going in WWE right now.
On SmackDown, if not the whole company.
Yeah. Exactly. And so, I don't know. I think being able to kind of give Andrade the rub a little bit, involve him, get him seen by people who might fast forward a little bit through one of his matches against Sin Cara, I think it could help him. I don't think giving him the mic in these scenarios helps him at all.
I didn't understand how bad it was till last week.
Yeah, no, I don't think giving him the mic is a good plan at this point, but I do think involving him with a big angle, since they clearly don't have anything going for him right now.
Yeah.
Similar to how Elias is doing the women's evolution stuff. I think it just helps kind of build up Andrade a little bit.
Yeah. Okay. All right. We'll see. I love Andrade also as a Latino wrestler, but also because of what he did in NXT and the way he turned it around.
Yeah.
And how Zelina has really helped him. And I don't want them to get lost in the mix. Do
you think him taking too many losses this early will hurt him like it has with the Ascension and other call-ups?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. And Zelina, too, taking the losses as well.
Even if it's Daniel Bryan who he's losing to?
Yeah, but RTruth pinned The Miz, so what are we talking about? I'm just saying, RTruth rather. That to me is like, well, I mean, does he have to keep taking these losses? We'll see how it, because even at the end, which we'll get to, they still took another loss, and I'm just like, how many more of these do they have to take?
That one bothered me a little more than this one.
Yeah. Oh, really? Okay.
A little bit.
Well, let's get there. First, we have to wade through the match you fell asleep on, Naomi versus Peyton Royce. Here, I guess they're making up to Naomi to do this, but then they brought in Asuka. Why is Asuka being involved in any of this crap with this situation? Look, I love Naomi. I think Naomi's being hard done here as well. But they're trying to push the Iconics. I get it. But like, just here's a microcosm. All of you who love Peyton Royce and Billy Kay, like, I respect you loving them totally. But look at when Naomi goes on the outside of the ring and hits her in the stomach. Peyton Royce takes the hit, then just bends all the way down and stays there for multiple beats. But for Naomi, jumps over and does what she does, and I'm just like, that's the thing that's missing. The timing here is important. If you want to give him a push, fine, but give him a push and make it reflect by the work in the ring. Like I gave Carmella her due when she had that great match with Charlotte a couple of weeks ago. I want to see the Iconics do that. I'm cool with the push. I like their gimmick. Show it in the ring.
Yeah, no, I mean, I get that. I mean, they're definitely
you're at the top of the roster, son. You got to bring it in the ring.
They're definitely. I mean, the matches obviously, this wasn't anything special. This wasn't anything to write home about. This wasn't anything that's going to get any awards, any observer or write ups or anything like that. But at the same time, it's it's one of those things where I feel like that they're just not being asked to do that. Like, if they went out there and they put on some kind of 5-star match, it'd be like, that's weird. Like, what are they doing out there? It'd be more weird if they were putting on 5-star matches just because it'd be like, none of the people in WWE are putting on 5. Like, look at the B team. Look at everyone. I mean, the bar is at like 2-3 stars. You know, so like I don't and so I don't. It doesn't bother me as much. I like that Naomi got the win now. I like that they've kind of gone back and forth. I didn't necessarily love Asuka being involved in the mix.
Why is a championship level wrestler swinging in the mid card?
The only thing I can think of is that they both just enjoy like glow in the dark paint, so that they've got like that kind of vibe going for them. She's like, oh no, we like glowy things, so we hang out. You know, same reason why she's like cool with Jeff Hardy too.
Yeah,
I really what I liked more was the social media push from Naomi, who made me actually care about this segment more than anyone. And I don't know if you saw it, but in the like days leading up to SmackDown this week, she was tweeting all her former friends who used to be in WWE, saying that like she was tired of the Iconics, messing with her, and that she needed one of her friends back. So she wrote to the former Funkadactyl. What was her name? Ariane Andrew.
Yes.
She wrote her. She wrote Summer Rae. She wrote Melina. She wrote.
Melina, nice.
She was writing like everyone. So like honestly, all those options were cooler to me than Asuka, because it's like, what does Asuka care about this situation, really? You know, but at the same time, it is what it is. You know, I mean, I understand those people aren't in the company right now, so it doesn't really quite make sense.
But it's the logic of it too. I get why. Like, I get when they went all the way back and were like, oh yeah, well the Iconics like caused Asuka to lose her first match.
Yes,
I get you making that connection, but it's a really tenuous connection.
It really
to have her
is.
come out, because it wasn't like they recently knocked her out.
No, and you like dig back in your mind to remember that one.
Yeah,
like
exactly.
I was wondering that, and I still didn't even feel like Googling it. I was like, is that why? Oh, okay, all right, that makes sense, I guess.
Yeah.
I mean, at the end of the day, this is all just an excuse to get the Iconics in Australia. And so, the Super Showdown.
So is this what it's going to be? Asuka
they announced it
and
after.
Naomi?
They announced it after. Yeah. So it's Asuka
great,
and Naomi.
And I'm supposed to believe
Iconics.
this is going to be longer than a 30-second match? Okay. All right. Got it.
You're going to be so pissed.
I am.
When the Iconics win.
When they win.
And they beat Naomi and Asuka in Australia. Oh, you're going to be sitting there like, how come we never have anyone win in their hometown, but the Iconics get to win in Australia?
I'll be one of those.
Because they have to either have the Iconics or Buddy Murphy win. Buddy Murphy, I think, is going up against Cedric Alexander. So one of them has to win in Australia. If they have both of them lose at this giant super show they're doing.
I'll be honest with you. I'd rather Buddy Murphy win. I'd be down with that.
I would be too, but I just think that I feel like they're going to do both, to be honest with you.
As an Alexa Bliss fan, I can't help but cheer for Buddy Murphy. I have no choice. Anyway, let's move on. You're probably right. Damn it. Something about the Samoa Joe promo. Did you watch that promo?
Oh, yeah.
Woo! Daddy, this is whole other level stuff. This whole other level stuff. What's going on between him and AJ. I love AJ fooling him. I love Joe thinking he had the better of him, and then AJ fooled him. And then they got into usually they stop before the match, or he rolls out of the ring, the heel does. Joe stayed and had the fight. It was great. They were going back and forth, the switching around, everybody doing the same moves. I loved it. And then getting separated, and then Paige coming down, getting involved in it, all that kind of jazz. And then AJ doing the jump off the top ropes onto the refs and onto Joe. What did you think overall?
So all the things that you said, yeah, they all make sense to me. They all fit into place. But I couldn't stop thinking while I was watching this of how shitty of a dad AJ Styles is again. Like, this guy said he was going to do a home invasion. I was a little disappointed we didn't get the home invasion. Because I was, like, real pumped about it. It was, like, honestly the thing I was looking most forward to on SmackDown this week. And when he was standing in the ring, I was like, where'd the home invasion go? I thought you were going there this time. And then when I heard what he said he wanted to scare, I'm like, oh, okay, I guess. All right, I guess that goes. But then when AJ was at the arena, I'm like, wait a second. We were all led to believe that Samoa Joe was going to do a home invasion last week.
Yeah.
You're telling me AJ Styles didn't stay at home for this home invasion that was going to happen at his house? You, John Rocha, if you had a family and children, and a crazy man told you...
Do I?
And a man who was acting like a serial killer about your family said he was going to show up to your home, you'd be home with a bat waiting at the front door. I thought when they were doing like the via satellite thing that maybe he was going to be at home. Like, no. And they tried to make up for it on commentary a little bit. I believe one of them, I think it was Tom, said something along the lines of like, oh, he must have brought his family here to the arena. even worse. Even worse. Why? So you brought them.
That's a very good point.
That's like a serial killer saying, "I'm going to kill you," and you being like, "Well, what's your address? I'm going to bring my family over.
We're going to have this out.
We're going to do this. I'm bringing Wendy. I'm bringing the other little girl.
I want the kids to see what I do to bullies."
Yeah, like that was like to me. I was like, why would he bring them? Like why? Why wouldn't he just like hire security? All of it made no sense.
That's
to me.
Brilliant.
All of it made no sense to me. But you know, yes, if I toss all logic aside and I ignore all those things, yeah, I enjoy the segment. Joe's been killing it. The little cut on his head made him look even crazier.
Yeah.
I like tough AJ. I like that we're finally getting the wrinkle of tough AJ. It's something we've needed to see from AJ this whole time. Like tough AJ is not the side of AJ we've really seen. And I like that it finally came about because of Samoa Joe, someone who we've already seen him wrestle so many times that now like it brings a different layer to their, you know, decades-long tale against each other.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, decades-long tale is a great point. Yeah, two indie guys bringing it here to WWE, the main brand here, and doing what they can do. And so I like it, and I think these are the two perfect guys to bring it across. Like, honestly, if you're going to run this kind of program, these are the guys that will really bring out the best of it and squeeze as much out or wring as much out of it as they can. So I love that. But I see your point makes a good. You make a great point.
I know.
I was just enjoying the fact that he outsmarted Joe, and I didn't think, well, what if he hadn't outsmarted Joe? Joe would have been waiting to kill his family.
Yeah, exactly. Like, what if Joe had like someone helping him, and then AJ doesn't know? Now he's brought his family there.
He's got a mini Joe,
or he's there at his house. Like none of it makes any sense at all. I was that part was driving, but I still enjoyed it. I'm not mad. It was just like the logic person. Like the logic in my head was just like but. Also, when we were talking about during the All In recap, which you guys can also find on the YouTube channel, the last video we posted.
Boom.
Nice plug, right? I'm getting better at those. When we were talking in there, I talked about how much I love All In. I posted a clip of it, and I said that something along the lines of, when it's like a lot of the indie wrestling and New Japan or Ring of Honor or a lot of those companies, they're much more focused on the matches and less soap opera. And so I feel like Joe and AJ have had so many good matches that you can tell they two are like two actors who have been doing the same thing for so many times that they're like stoked to kind of like sink their teeth into something that's a little bit different for their character. Like someone who's been doing a TV show for 20 years and then you get like a real juicy storyline. You're like, yeah, this is what I've been waiting for, you know? And so it feels like that's what they have going here, and they're both just knocking it out of the park.
Yeah, agreed. Let's move on to the Usos versus Rusev and Aiden English versus Sanity. Speaking of things getting buried, Sanity loses this one. The Usos lose as well. I was reading online. A lot of people thought it was going to be obvious if they put the Russos over. But I guess...
the Usos?
I'm sorry, the Usos. The Russos. Listen to me. Vince and whatever his brother is. No, the Usos. If they had put the Usos over, it was interesting to me. I thought that was like, I wouldn't have had an issue with that if they had put the Usos over.
No, but
they haven't been near the tag team titles in quite some time.
No, but I think the better choice was Rusev Day, in my opinion, here. Just because they put so much effort into making them baby faces the past,
Yeah, they finally decided which direction to go in.
They've finally said, okay, we're going to make them faces. I like that we finally got going in that direction because they should be getting a big push, But at the same time, like I don't think they're going to be the ones getting a tag title shot because it doesn't make sense them versus New Day as much.
It's going to be the bar.
It's going to be the bar.
And Aiden's going to mess it up again.
He is.
Or Lana is. Lana's going to mess up and cost Aiden to lose. That's certainly possible. They turn the tables around. Then what's Rusev going to do?
And he breaks her.
I don't know about all that. He'll be like, what's her face on Raw? I'm sick of both of you. I'm done with both of you.
Dana Brooke.
That's right. It'll be Dana Brooke. But I thought the match was a good match. It was an enjoyable match to watch for a tag team match, for a 6-man tag. I was cool with it.
It wasn't anything to like write home about or anything like that.
Exactly.
Even in my desk,
passed the time.
Yeah, and I was like trying to keep paying attention to it, and nothing really like stood out to me besides the fact that that Vince just doesn't care about tag teams. Like that's all I was sitting there thinking, watching. Like, and I know it's a 6-man tag, but I was just sitting there thinking, like what have they done with Sanity?
Yeah.
What it's like it's same with. It's like the Authors of Pain. It's same thing. Like you took out.
Why bring them up if you're not going to use them?
Well, why bring them up by taking out one of the most entertaining qualities that comes from the act?
Yes.
And that was Nikki Cross.
Yeah.
And that was Paul Ellering. You know, Paul Ellering was the voice of the Authors of Pain.
Yeah.
You know, Nikki Cross was like the fun, crazy part of Sanity.
Yeah.
It was like their crazy little sister who they had to keep contained, like a little Luna, and I loved it.
Why is Sarah Logan up and not Nikki Cross?
Right.
Like, I need to understand why that's happening. And nothing against Sarah.
No, she's great
Sarah's
too.
still green though, whereas Nikki is commanding the rings when she's in there now.
Yeah, I mean,
she's taking that next step.
I mean, I get the fact that they need to have a strong female at the top of the card in NXT that's kind of like the veteran, but it's time.
Yeah.
It's time.
It's more than time.
Because I fear that much like the Authors of Pain, they're just gonna they're gonna stick like Paige in there as the crazy sister. There, we already know her, so they don't need the Nikki Cross. We're gonna stick some girl you already know there in that role, and all of a sudden, Naomi's crazy sister or something like that, crazy Naomi Cross or something like that.
Yeah.
So
the glow situation.
Yeah, I that was the main thing I couldn't stop focusing on during this match. Which is like, man, why'd they call him? Like, why don't they just let them do what they were doing?
That's the thing that's frustrating, right? Because you have to ask yourself, are they purposefully doing? Like, why haven't they built up the characters, built up storylines, given them like crazy? There's so much precedence in past tag teams or factions coming into the roster and doing the things they were doing. Even the NWO, in the limited amount of time they had on WWE, still caused one of the greatest destructions of The Rock you've ever seen. It was incredible, so memorable. And they almost had Stone Cold. And DX has done that multiple times. Even Evolution has Nation of Domination had some great. So to me, if you're not going to bring up the factions and let them do what they need to do at the cost of the wrestlers that have already been there, because either you're worried about the wrestlers not doing it, or they grousing about putting another. This is a whole company, man. Everybody's got to put people over, and so like this idea that you don't want to do this with Sanity makes no sense. Because why did you bring them up? If, like you said, why bring them up if you're not going to let them do exactly what they got known for doing in NXT? It makes no sense.
Well, and it's interesting too, because I think the reason that people get called, because clearly
they can wrestle and they're fun to watch when they're heels.
Well, clearly, like the disconnect is between Vince and Triple H. I mean, the disconnect is clearly Triple H sees it as one way, Vince sees it as one way. We see the difference. You know, we see the way Triple H does it on NXT. Clear. He's clearly in charge there. Yeah. We see the difference in the main roster. You know, Vince is a 70-something-year-old man. Yeah. And, I cannot. I do not know one 70-year-old man. Not one who is in touch with what people want to see. Yeah. And I love WWE. Don't get me wrong. And I know that he surrounds himself with other people, but at the end of the day, you can see the difference between the two. You can see an All-In, for example, the way it's run, how it's different. It feels young. So does NXT. This is one of those things where I just don't understand, where it's like, why mess with something that was working? Yeah. Just let it do its thing. It's like Matt Hardy. Yeah. Why mess with that was working? Let it try. Give it a chance at least. Yeah. You gave it a chance and people enjoyed the chance that you gave it. Everyone enjoyed when it was on Raw and that we had a deletion thing. Yeah. And then we've never seen it again. Right. It's frustrating. And that was really, honestly, all I could think about while I was watching this match. I was just thinking, man, what is Sanity right now? They have no character definition besides those vignettes they played, kind of. It's like in NXT they explained who these guys were very well. You got their characters. I don't understand what their characters are right now.
Well, why bring them up to fill a slot that you could have taken any other tag team to bring up to fill? It just doesn't make any sense.
No, especially if you want to change them.
Yeah, and especially someone like Eric Young, man. Eric Young, you can say what you want about AJ and Samoa Joe and all these other guys. Eric Young's put his time in as well. In multiple federations for years on the indie circuit, and he makes every gimmick work. Yep. No matter how stupid or insane or strange, he's a nutty dude, probably in real life, and that voice of his is great. So whatever he does, there's an authenticity to the lunacy of whatever angle they add him to. So to take that away, it just doesn't make any sense.
He does seem to be the one that Vince likes the most so far.
I'm sure. Well,
it does feel that way.
He's a worker.
Yeah, it does. It does feel to me when I'm looking at it like Vince, at least. To be honest, I feel like that's why they got brought up. Is that Eric Young is a player who should be on the main roster, whether he sinks or swims, give him a shot type of thing. Because at a certain point, Eric Young doesn't feel like a perfect fit for the young roster of NXT. Yeah. So I also see that too. And Eric Young has been knocking it out of the park. You know, I'm a huge Eric Young fan. So and Killian Dane, the whole group.
Yes.
I just feel like I just wish they were allowed to do the things that were getting them over before.
Yeah.
That's all.
Yeah, we'll see what happens. Well, I mean, it's going to be New Day versus Aiden English and Rusev. We'll see how that plays out. I'm with you. I think the New Day. I mean, I think the Bar is going to take care of them, knock them out, and then the Bar will face the New Day, and that's going to be a fantastic match. And that's the way it should go down. All right. Well, we went back in time with RTruth taking on the Miz next. But first, we had the Miz and Maurice cut their promo about Daniel Bryan and Brie Bella, and then they were interrupted by Carmella and RTruth. And who's the other guy? The guy that was watching?
The Ty Dillinger.
Ty Dillinger, that's right. And then they had their exchange. This is probably the most I've enjoyed Ty Dillinger doing this part. I feel like Ty Dillinger's trying to be funny, but he's like just a half a beat off on some of his timing.
Yeah, like when he said praise Kid Rock or something like whatever he said about Kid Rock.
Yeah.
Like,
or
in the loving name of Kid Rock or something like that.
Yeah, or last week when he was like, "This is my life."
Yeah,
I was like, no, man, just hit it as soon as he's walking away.
Well, you know what's funny? It's like the fact that they had him paired up, but the fact that it's RTruth and Ty Dillinger kind of being like a little buddy duo right now.
Yeah,
running into Miz, who was like, when Miz and Truth were at that point,
yeah.
Even though Miz had won a title and was much further in his, at a much higher point in his career, I do feel they were in similar places. Miz was a little cheesy at the time, finding his role again on the main roster.
I was done with Miz at that time.
Yeah, me too. I think a lot of people were, and this was really like when he was trying to new things out a little, trying to be a little different than what he'd been doing in the past.
Yeah.
And I remember being a big fan of Miz and RTruth.
Yeah.
When that pairing at first was like one of those ones where you go like, really? Like Miz and RTruth? Like, really? And then it ended up being really entertaining.
Yeah.
So I liked the little nostalgia factor there. RTruth, man, he's just been killing it.
He's an MVP, man.
He really is.
He's so funny.
Him coming up and calling Maurice Carmella that whole time, I was dying.
It was brilliant.
It was so, and then he was like, wait. When he was like, wait, you're married to Carmella? And it was like, no, like, what are you doing? That stuff had me cracking up. And I always like the little throwbacks like that. I mean, Miz and Truth, was never the most famous tag team.
Right.
But I think they really did help each other out at a time when the two of them were trying to figure things out. Because isn't that even when Little Jimmy came around?
Yeah.
That's when Little Jimmy first came around, right? And Little Jimmy saved RTruth's career.
Oh, my God.
I mean,
absolutely.
He was like really dead in the water at the time of Little Jimmy and before Little Jimmy. And when Little Jimmy came around, everything really seemed to change.
You can make comparisons to him and Booker in this way. Booker found his thing as well, the thing that he worked for him. Tell me you did not say that. Or the Booker or the King Booker thing. Both him and RTruth find ways in a company that's historically not that favorable to blacks or African American wrestlers, giving them storylines, giving them stuff to do. Obviously, The Rock is the kind of counter to that in the Nation of Domination back in Attitude Era, but consistently it's not. So to have them find their way across in the New Days, which is fantastic, you get those moments. You really cheer for those wrestlers getting those little things. You don't know if it's going to work initially, and when it does, you're like, oh, thank God, because that Little Jimmy thing was hilarious.
Oh yeah, that
was honestly, that Little Jimmy when he was holding the rope open for Little Jimmy. I was like, what is happening here? It was genius.
Yeah, no, I remember that. I remember the time I mentioned once that like RTruth used to be one who I fast forwarded through, and then when Little Jimmy came around, that changed everything.
Yep.
Little Jimmy was awesome. That's one in 20 years that they're totally going to call back on when RTruth comes out and does stuff. Like he's going to like thank Little Jimmy in his Hall of Fame speech one day and all that kind of stuff. So I liked getting a little bit of a throwback there.
Yeah.
Also. I think it was last week I talked about how I hoped that all of this RTruth Carmella stuff was leading to RTruth versus Carmella. But I like even more so that mixed match challenge is coming back, and now RTruth and Carmella are going to be a team. I think that's great.
This may be Vince. Like, look, if you know the boss, you get some perks.
Oh, yeah.
And like you were saying, which I didn't know, RTruth is really good friends with Vince.
Yeah.
This could be Vince giving him a run here, just having fun with him and whatever. And he does this with Goldust all the time as well. He gives him these little mini runs and puts him with people that, and with RTruth, listen, that was great. RTruth and Goldust was hilarious to me, the whole process of it. The Golden Truth, whatever it was called. And so you got this now in this situation. This could be his way of maybe helping Carmella get a little more over, getting her more personality, and getting fans fans behind her because she's a great heel. That's true, but people were starting to turn on her in a negative way, in a volatile way, and so to me that I think maybe they sensed that they were losing what they were trying to create with her, and so putting her with RTruth makes her softer in a way, makes her funnier, makes her more interesting, gives her a chance to shine with her personality and her timing, and so maybe this is the logic here going forward. Because initially I was like, oh, this is kind of RTruth's not really on the roster. Like I know he's on it, but he's not really on it. And so to pair her with RTruth is weird. But this may be the reason why, because he makes it work with everyone. And he pairs them up.
I also remember Carmella was one of the highlights of last year's mixed match challenge. Her pairing with New Day when she was her and Big E. Those things they used to do where they were doing like those workout videos they were doing together, and they had a whole string of videos. Those were all great. So I'm very much looking forward to Carmella doing that now with RTruth. It should be fun.
Yeah. Well, let's get to the match. You had them come down. You had Almas and you had RTruth versus
before we
get
to that, I feel like you left out one thing that was in the show this week, and I wanted to get your thoughts on.
Okay.
And that was the vignettes for Jeff Hardy versus Randy Orton. Did you watch those?
Yes.
You know, I feel like WWE. I felt like there was this little period of time where I didn't give a shit about the vignettes.
Okay.
And I always, WWE has always been kind of in the past, 15, 20 years or whatever, much more synonymous with cool vignettes. Like people love the vignettes from WWE. There's ones that people love forever that talk about how great they were. I felt like they've been kind of slacking in recent years, where I like kind of just felt like stuff kind of rushed together to fill time on the air.
Right.
This package, and I remember I liked Daniel Bryan Miz one recently. There have been recent packages on SmackDown.
They used to be what they were known for, man.
Yeah, people loved the vignettes that were like hyping different matches. I felt like this vignette was along those lines. I liked that it was like the same vignette with different. It had the same look but different music, and Jeff's was very like. It had a different vibe to it, much more like deep, dark, heroic. I liked it, and it was like intense. It had a real intense vibe to it. Showing like, everyone knows what I'll do in a Hell in a Cell, and reminding you of that kind of stuff. Because, we've talked about how Jeff maybe isn't necessarily the best on the mic.
Yeah.
But I think that he shines much, much, much more when he is in a backstage segment where it's pre-taped, like a pre-taped thing where he's got like, he can do one or two takes and make sure he gets it right.
Yeah.
Those are, I always think he is really good at those. Like more than the rest of the times, like when he's got a chance to like work on it in a dark room and and not like 100,000 people in front of him or whatever. So I know it's not that many people, but you know what I mean? 10,000 people in front of him or whatever. So, so I think that both of these promos, the Randy Orton one did a good job putting over the fact that Randy Orton is at his edge, that he's ready to kill someone, that that person is Jeff Hardy. So props to the WWE video department. I thought those were great. I loved them.
Did you like the Charlotte Flair Becca one? Did you like the back and forth?
Oh yeah, we forgot about that too. Yeah. I did. You know what I thought? What I liked about it? No, I did. I liked it. I liked it.
All right.
What I liked about it is that I liked that they aren't. I like that they're both elevating themselves.
Yes.
They're both elevating themselves right now. The way this is going, it seems like they're pulling a little bit back on the heel side of Becky. And instead kind of making them both the heel here, where like, well, I guess not pulling back on the heel, but they're kind of just equal healing it up.
Yeah.
Because they're both in a bad mood.
Because they're in a fight.
They're in a fight. These are friends. Yeah. And you know what? I think the friend who you've gotten into it with, who you've been like the homies with for a really long time, finally get into a bursting point is a much more relatable storyline than, Becky being mad that Charlotte won fair. Like that bothered me.
Took her spot or whatever.
Yeah. And I think that's why I was so confused when people were, rebelling against it, because I was looking at it like, well, if my friend did that to me, I'd be like, fuck that person, As much as I love Becky Lynch, I'm talking character-wise. If that was me as Charlotte, I'd be like, fuck that person, Like, they're the bad guy. When I watch this now, it's much less like someone's supposed to be a bad guy or a good guy, and definitely both of them are much more along the lines of, like, you are my friend. friends have those problems.
Yeah.
I have a friend I haven't spoken with a best friend I haven't spoken with in like, I don't know, a year. And we do this. We have this like thing where like something bad will happen.
And you guys will go at it.
And then we'll like argue and get mad at each other and then go like a really long time without talking to each other because both of us don't want confrontation. And then finally one day we'll kind of like we cool now? Yeah, we're cool now, you know? But if we both worked in the same place, we'd have to hash it out in a Hell in a Cell.
Yeah.
That's the only way me and Scott could handle this, you know? So yeah, you know, so I get it. Yeah. Especially as someone who, you know, I was very much resonating with the character of Becky Lynch here, where it was like, where she was saying like, you know, I'm tired of all this. I'm just gonna beat you up. Like, you know, like we're not doing this. You know, it's been very hard being your friend for 5 years or whatever. Like, you know, I'm always trying to have to cover your tracks, handle your shit. You know, like be your friend. You know, and it was interesting because that was the kind of stuff that resonated with me for once, and it does feel like they're less trying to make you boo Becky Lynch and more just trying to add an edge to her character, which I like. I mean, the fact that she was, you know, saying like "shut up" and like that kind of stuff. Like she had like a real like badass vibe to her, and that's what I liked most about it.
A naturally badass vibe. She had the pursed lips. She's kind of looking down like the whole time, like this, doing the whole thing that she was doing, which I like. And she was able to defend herself in a way, or like go after Charlotte in a way that was relatable, right? Because you like you said, you've been in those situations. No one knows better how to say the mean things or the things that like really can get under your skin than a best friend or a family member, right?
100%.
And they're the ones that expose the things you do, kind of that you don't maybe want to face that you do, and you know you do, but you don't want to be called out on it that you do. They know how to bring that up, and it seemed like that was the vibe between both of them back and forth. Even Charlotte with her sarcastic clap at Becky, like that was like, damn, it's like she's not taking any kind of guff, and I think that's great because you're having both of these people. Like Charlotte has to put Becky over, right? And because Charlotte has been heel and face multiple times and super successful both versions of it. Becky, this is kind of Becky's first foray into being heel for a while.
Swim for Becky at this point. It's not sink or swim for Charlotte. She really does have to help her friend here.
Exactly, and you can tell that that's what they're doing. They're both kind of bringing their A games in these promos, and from a place that's believable, understandable, and relatable. And that's really important because then fans can actually have their own fights about who the hell, which side they're on. Like, oh, Becky's being a sourpuss. She doesn't want to face the fact she can't win the big one. Charlotte's being a jerk because she's not understanding her friend is suffering in this moment, blah, blah, blah. So there's a lot that you can use here, which I thought was genius.
Overall. Absolutely. And I always like when they do those side by side interviews.
Yes.
I like that vehicle for it always looks good. And for once I felt like it didn't drag on too long. I thought it ended right when it needed to, and then they still like, okay, we're done. And you've all been in that thing where like you want to get the last word over the person you're angry at. So it was like, well, okay, cool, but and then like, you know, one had to chime in, the other was like, okay, but and it was like, they're like, okay, guys, we're done here, we're done. Like, turn off, you know.
It was genius.
I thought that was well done. Yeah,
it's perfect. Well, anyway, so the last match, RTruth versus The Miz.
How crazy is that RTruth was in the main event in 2018? That dude is like a Jeff Jarrett. Like we were, I know we already kind of mentioned this episode, but Jeff Jarrett is so similar in terms of like he always survives. Yeah, Jeff Jarrett always survives. You always see him pop up. He's always something. He's at All In. He's at StarCast. He's at TNA. Yeah. He's at Impact. He's at the Hall of Fame. He's literally everywhere. RTruth, man, like how old is RTruth? Like, man, he is
52.
Is that how old he is?
I don't know. Maybe it feels like it.
It feels like it. Yeah. And so you know, the fact that he's even around at all is impressive. I mean, he's been around WWE for a long time.
Yes.
A long time.
And not just WWE, WCW, TNA. And then before TNA, he's done the time.
All of it. And somehow...
And he keeps surviving.
He's still entertaining.
People are still saying, what's up?
How is
that possible?
That cracked me up on commentary when Corey Graves said something along the lines of like, he's been asking for 10 years what's up and still doesn't know the answer to it. That part when Corey Graves said that I was dying. I was dying. But I mean, props to RTruth, man. Props to RTruth. And it was a good match.
It was a good match.
I was like, wait, not only is he in a main event, but it was a good match.
Yeah. Truth is 46 years old,
46.
Son. 46.
Damn.
In a main event match at SmackDown.
Against
a top guy right now, one of the top guys on the roster.
Props to him.
Yeah. Good match, and he got a lot of shit from the commentary team. Corey Graves relishes these kinds of moments where he can really go in on a wrestler, all in on a wrestler. He totally did on RTruth, but it was like you said, it was a good back and forth. He had a couple of spots where he really could have beat the Miz with some great moves. Miz, of course, countered as well a couple of times, and then of course having Maurice on the outside flipping out about everything was really fun to watch, and then Daniel Bryan and Brie come out to kind of interrupt the situation. It distracts Miz and he loses. I didn't think that we needed a resolution in the match. So the pin, I understand the pin. I just didn't think we needed it. They're there to serve the overall purpose of the overall storyline of Daniel and Miz. So you don't need to see Miz to lose. It's not going to tomorrow or the next one's show. He's going to be like, I lost to RTruth. Damn it. You know, no one's going to care.
Well, yes, I agree with you. But I think since we've talked about the fact that Miz is Teflon, like Miz can lose, it doesn't matter.
It's true. That's true.
I do think that RTruth getting a main event win is cool for RTruth's career. The fact that he's not only in the main event, but he's winning a main event in 2018 at his age. I mean, and the fact that he, where he is on the totem pole of the card. I mean, I'm trying to remember but there are times on Raw where you're like who was it when like a Heath Slater? Like when Heath Slater was in the main event of Raw and he won, everyone was like, it was like this whole thing, like everyone was, so I get it. Like, I was cool with it. I was like, oh, good for RTruth. A little reward for the good work that you've done, and the fact that you're coming back, that you're not retiring at 46 just because you had another surgery, that you instead have a new lease on life and want to go for another 5-10 years. That's so cool. So I was cool with the win. Less cool with making Andrade and Zelina the foil again here because I was cool with them losing in a match, and I get them then coming back again later to try and attack Daniel Bryan to get some revenge, but it's just like why are we using them as to help get Daniel Bryan and Brie even more over again? They're already over. Like that didn't do anything. Like, yes, it looked visually cool seeing them both do the finishing move or whatever, the DS lock. But at the end of the day, I was like, that could have been served best with Miz and Maurice just fine. Like,
Absolutely.
I didn't think it needed to be Andrade and Zelina.
Yeah, I agree with that completely. It was a little frustrating over and over again to have them be in the situation that they were last night. I was just like, at some point, they're no longer a threat if you keep quashing the threat.
Yeah.
So I would have liked it if Zelina and Almas had gotten the best of Daniel and Brie. And I get you're still pitching the Daniel Brie collection. I get it, but the fans are already over with it. We're cool with it.
And
give us something to climb over. They're good, better as underdogs.
And they had an advantage.
Yeah,
like, it would have made sense.
Exactly.
Like, if they came in, they hit, and then, Daniel fought back for a second, but then Miz came and hit him, and then they 2-on-1.
Right.
Both of them, so it'd be two women on both sides.
Yeah.
That would have I thought that would have done better than, especially because it would have set up the whole episode, like, this whole running thread throughout this episode was like, Daniel Bryan and the Miz, or the two couples kind of like missing each other at the restaurant or not at the restaurant, and such, so and so forth. So I would have preferred to see Andrade on top as opposed to on bottom twice.
Yeah, it was a little frustrating at the end, but I mean, it just sets up what we're going to get that match eventually with Daniel Bryan and Miz and Maurice and Brie Bella. But overall, I thought it was an enjoyable SmackDown. It wasn't the greatest SmackDown. I think last week was a better SmackDown, to be honest with you. So this one just kind of is pushing the storyline as we're getting closer to Hell in a Cell. We'll see how this goes on. But I like the vignettes. I like the Samoa Joe stuff with AJ. I liked a little more going on here with. I liked Asuka coming back. I didn't like the fact that she came back in that situation, but I do like the fact that now she's back on TV and back in the mix. I enjoy that as well. And we'll see what happens. Because we've been kind of cheering on Rusev a little bit just to have them figure out what the hell to do with him. And now that they have, we can now kind of settle in and go forward on this on the face turn. Anything you want to say to wrap up here?
No, I think you kind of hit all the points right there. I'm looking forward to next week. I think when I have a pay-per-view that I watch, it's hard as the week wears on. It gets harder and harder to keep my attention because it's like 5-hour pay-per-view that I did over the weekend and then 3 hours of Raw. So that 2 hours. It helps that it's smaller and it's got to be like it's got to impress on a weekend like this, and so it didn't do bad. I enjoyed it. I liked what it was.
Very much so. All right, well, there's our Collider Body Slam SmackDown Live recap. Hope you enjoyed it. Let us know what you thought about the show in the comments section below. What did you think? Do you think I'm insane for hating the Iconics as much as I do, or do you think Ryan is smart and right about a lot of his opinions on all these matches here? Do you like that? Let us see. Damn right he is. Let us know in the comment section below. And Ryan, tell everybody where they're going to follow stuff.
You can find me. I'm at Ryan Satin on all social media. The website's ProWrestlingSheet.com. It's at Wrestling Sheet on all social media as well. The YouTube channel is youtube.com/C/Wrestling Sheet. If you're watching me on video, you over there, the one I'm pointing at, then please subscribe while you're here to the show or the channel.
Yeah.
It really helps a lot. We just hit 6,000 subscribers. We've gained like a few thousand since we started doing these recaps.
Awesome. Thank you.
Very, very happy with the reactions and the reception to all of this. Please subscribe. It helps us out a lot. It shows the people in here that you guys are enjoying these 45-minute to an hour episodes.
Yeah.
And just in general, I appreciate the support. So please subscribe. And also, if you're watching the videos, go check us out go check out our audio feeds. It's on Podcast One, iTunes, wherever you get your podcasts. I don't think we're on Spotify right now, but we're on most of the other ones. You can check us out there. It's Wrestling Sheet Radio. We've got this show. We've got Wrestling Sheet Radio, which is the flagship show. We've got Top 5 with Kevin and James. I fucked up and forgot to put last week's episode up. They let me know. That was a mistake on my part. And then this weekend, I believe this weekend we'll be having the first episode of Aaron Turner and Rachel Evans' Collider Body Slam Best of the Rest show. I'm excited about that. I believe they're going to be talking about the Mae Young Classic since that starts tonight. We might not have really time on these shows to recap it, so I think they're going to talk about it on Best of the Rest as well. And for those of you who watch on YouTube, if you're on here and you're checking out other things on YouTube, check out Collider videos. They've got a ton of stuff on there, movie talk, all sorts of shows that you as a movie nerd will very much enjoy. There's also Collider Quick Hits, Collider Sports, Collider Games. There's like Collider everything. So go there, check them out. Your support of Wrestling Sheet and Collider is a huge help. Collider owns ProWrestlingSheet.com. They help us do these videos. They make it so all of this is possible. So go support them in return and support the Collider sports stuff that you guys have been doing.
Yeah. It's been a lot of fun being on the Collider Sports YouTube channel and podcast feed. Go over there. I know a lot of stuff has been on the factory feed. It is about to move over into Collider Sports. iTunes feed have its own feed, so we can put up even more content about sports, talking about all the breaking stories and all the stuff we're doing. Collider Sports Time, all the shows, Premier League recap, everything that's happening there. So, and there's more coming. So go and subscribe there. If you want to follow me, you can follow me at The Rocha Says on Twitter and on Instagram. Did you already give you your handle?
I did, yes.
Awesome. All right. Well, thanks everybody for watching this week, and we will see you next time on Collider Body Slam.
ProWrestlingSheet.com